get this annual meeting rolling here. I am your temporary chairperson, so first thing on the order is to all right. We need to elect someone to chair the meeting. Do I have any nominations for chair of the meeting?
Nominate Jeff Mahoney.
Oh. I nominate Arlen.
Oh, is that how we do it?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Forget it, Jeff.
Do I need a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Anybody else? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Wow. Come on here, Marty.
Item number 4.
3 is parliamentary.
Oh, yep,
Our
sorry.
parliamentarian is Shayna Lewis. She's here tonight. Thank you, Shayna. She is a resident of our district and worked for Strang, Patterson, Ranning, Lewis, and Lacey. And she's here to help us if we have any questions or concerns. Thank you, Shayna. Minutes of the 2019 annual meeting by Clerk Ann Molitor. A motion may be made to waive the reading for the minutes if we so choose. Is there any motions to waive it?
I would move to waive the reading of the minutes from 2019 as well as the treasurer's report.
Can we do them both at the same time? Yes. Yeah, good deal. Okay. And the treasurer's report. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Christine? Very well. Motion to waive the minutes of the annual meeting and the treasurer's report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes by majority. Next is a hearing on the budget, and Jeff will provide a brief overview of this year's budget. You need this?
We'll do that. Is it easier to come up here? Yeah, probably, so the village taping of this can be heard. So this year, we have a few less slides, but would like to hit the highlights of our different funds. This evening, I'd like to cover each of the funds. In your documentation, you can see the audited year of 18-19, the unaudited year of 2019-2020, and our current recommended budget of 2020-21. Our audit is almost concluded for the 2019-2020 year. In fact, you will probably see that presentation on the completed audit for the school board members in the first meeting in December. Just some highlights about the general fund. Our net general fund is $30 million when excluding the WEVA school part of our district. WEVA accounts for about $23 million of expenditures and is supported by offsetting revenue from state open enrollment aid transfers from resident school districts. So we are the sort of the pass-through for the WEVA operations for both revenues, and they handle the expense side. Just a reminder that when you bring us back down into our normal budget for the general fund of about $30 million, 13.5 of that is made up of taxes for the general fund. That leaves $16.5 million in the general fund. Comes from state aid, state categorical aid, open enrollment tuition from non-resident districts, and grants. It's important to remember that because property tax equals revenue cap minus state aid. So we are very, compared to our counterparts in Dane County, we're a very heavily aided school district. We're heavily aided because we have a small land area school district with lots of students within that small land area school district. We are one of very few in Dane County that would have a footprint as tiny as the 25 square miles that we have. The general fund is going to have some COVID-related expenditures that are estimates at this point. I estimate that and guess that we will continue to have more expenditures, and we will start to track those more as we continue to have those experiences. Those experiences of these expenditures include substitute teaching staff, where right now we have 3 of our 4 buildings have their permanent sub in place, so that if they did have a staff member that was not available, they may be able to have that person in the building already, ready to go to work with students. Medical services, we're up nearly $100,000 on our medical services that we're utilizing to help us prepare classrooms, prepare staff, prepare the buildings, to then trace, track, you name every terminology that comes with COVID, and our nursing and nursing service assistants are heavily involved. We're nearing up to $100,000 of extra expenses for PPE, for masks, eye protection, hand sanitizer, cleaning supplies. Both our student services department and our buildings and grounds department were heavily involved in the procurement and started very early in May and June to already start getting ready for what is an unplanned start with plans that change daily. So it's working well. Technology, we also had an additional $100,000 in technology expenses to get ourselves up to speed with mobile devices for each staff member and student well ahead of expenditure timeframes. We also anticipate likely a potential budget repair bill by the legislature, anticipating that sometime in the spring, the legislature will have to do some repairs to their budget, and in particular get ready for this next 2-year biennial budget. That does indicate that they still could do something that would impact school districts across the state within this fiscal year. There have been comments by legislators talking about a reduction in the per pupil categorical state aid. That aid is over $700, and they are looking at potentially a $200. Now again, this is information that we've heard, and we have to at least anticipate with talking with our school board as this develops. We're also going to experience a food service deficit. I will discuss that a little bit later when we get to the food service budget. The good news for our school district is the fact that we have built good reserves that can help offset these expenses and should allow us to meet any ramifications that come forward from the state of Wisconsin, whether it's this fiscal year or as we already start planning 21-22. Special Projects Fund. There are 2 funds in the Special Projects Fund. Number 21 is the Fun Fund. That is where a lot of our clubs and activities have their budgets. They do add up to quite a bit of money, but well less than $100,000. The largest part of the Special Projects Fund is Fund 27. Special Education accounts for $6 million. Just as a note, there is a slight reduction from 1920 due to less students that have such impacts on our budget that we're able to reduce that fund. A unique piece, and a shout out to our People Services Director, Lauren Arango, and our office, the business office, Carrie Roberts. The state changed how they would give more aid for high-cost students last year. that change, first of all, it was a very rigorous, basically what I'd call an audit that you'd have to go through to put together the correct paperwork, the correct information to submit to the state. Only 124 schools participated in that program this last year of submitting data. Now, knowing there's well over 400 schools in the state of Wisconsin, and the previous year, nearly 300 of those schools had put forth their effort to go after that money. It took a lot of time and effort, but our school district is one of those few that went after the money and received the money. We received well over 300,000, whereas in previous years, because it was divided up in some certain categorical aid, most districts like ours only received 30,000. So as you can see, we did take advantage of making sure that when we're given the opportunity to go after state funds, we go after them. I'm a bit disappointed in the state putting such rigorous amounts of time and energy people would have to, that so many school districts could not afford the time to do that process, but it was a benefit to the McFarland School District. Debt Service Fund, commonly known as the House Payments Fund. This year, we'll have expenditures of just over $4 million to continue to pay for our debt on the 3 debt service issues that we had that were related to the $65.1 million referendum. Those debt services were 6.1, 41 million, and 18 million. Those were the 3 borrowings that we had during those 3 fiscal years during construction. If our debt was not refinanced or redone, if everything just stayed the same, the last payment would come in the year 2038. I'm guessing that someone else will make that final payment here. That's my plan. Capital projects. The Capital Projects Fund is a fund in which the school district puts forth each year a portion of the tax levy out of the revenue cap into the project fund to take care of large maintenance projects. That fund can accumulate funding. The school district in the last 20 years has maintained putting about $249,000 annually in to that fund. This year, 2020-21, we did already anticipate and did already put forth nearly $760,000 worth of projects. That included the high school parking lot was completed, and if you had a chance to look here at Wabisa, the carpet was also redone throughout the building. Food Service Fund. This fund is basically a revenue and expenditure just like most businesses. We operate our food service business, school nutrition, with about $1 million of expenditures and revenues on an annual basis. It has been COVID impacted. As we did go into a shutdown, food service was no longer being provided. Staff expenses were maintained, thus we did have a deficit in the 1920 school year. Good reserves helped offset that deficit in 1920. Moving forward into 2021, the USDA on, I think it was August 30th or September 1st, announced another change that they would move into having free meals for all students, community members that are underneath the age of 18. We had already planned for the free, reduced, and regular pay program. By week 2, we had retooled it and ramped into the free program. We started averaging about 200 to 300 lunches and breakfasts a day. We are nearing 450 lunches and breakfasts a day, but would need to balance the budget. We would need nearly 900 breakfasts and lunches to be distributed to families. In the last 2 weeks, we've now added programming that will provide lunches and breakfasts on the weekends. We will be doing holiday time frames, including the 2-week, 10-day period of time for Christmas break, holiday break. Additionally, we're starting to work with daycares to provide meals to them so that they can distribute more easily to, some of them are students, some of them are not students yet, but they are future students. And this program is covered by the USDA. These measures should move us forward with getting closer to a balanced budget by the end of the school year. So please go online, residents, and look for how you can participate in that program, which benefits you and also benefits the school district. Community Service Fund. This is our recreation, aquatics programming, and other services. In a normal year, we usually have about $650,000 worth of expenditures that move through this fund. We're anticipating just south of $400,000 this year. While we have been able to maintain having the pool open, it's been very limited. Usually our pool generates nearly $150,000 worth of fees, which are off by the expenditures of lifeguards, swim instructors, and other managers that help operate that pool. Further, with the action of the board a few years ago, we implemented a recreation coordinator position that started bringing more recreation programming year-round for our community. We were able to do some things this summer outside, but as we move inside, we made a priority that the schools would be, for the inside, priority would be for in-person learning, hybrid with our K-2 students, VIP services, and as you heard this evening, the community talking about athletics, we know that the next go-around would be probably high school athletics. At this point, no other outside groups are available or are allowed to be using the facilities until after January 26th. So we'll have some time to see how things shake out in the next couple months and then start to reevaluate what kind of recreation programming we might be able to do on the inside. But if you had a chance on Saturday night, this past Saturday night, you might have went and drove around Indian Mound Middle School where the first ever pumpkin carving contest was held in a drive-through situation. Hats off to Alicia and Stu for making that possible so some families could decorate pumpkins and have students engaged in potentially some better artwork than I can ever do with pumpkins. And the community donated hundreds of dollars worth of prizes for the winners. I don't know who the winners are. We'll get that information out soon. But lots of creativity is the name of the game with recreation right now. And I'm happy that we do have a community service fund so that we can help with some of that. In conclusion, all funds with, again, WEVA moving through, we'll have about $62.5 million worth of expenditures that will flow through our accounting software. If you look just at the net expenditures for the school district, again, it's closer to $40 million. If you're comparing from 18-19 through 2021, a lot of people would say, wow, you're really doing well. You've cut almost $23 million out of your budget. Just a reminder that still in 18-19 and 19-20, we were still completing our referendum construction. Arlen, that would complete the presentation on the budget.
I look for a motion to accept the budget for 2021 fiscal year as is right now.
So moved.
Greg? Second.
I'll second.
Christine? I want to thank you, Jeff. You do a wonderful job on the numbers. You always have. I could talk about that by itself, easy enough. Motion from Craig, second from Christine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes by majority.
Should we not read into the record the actual
Probably.
tax levy resolution?
Oh, I guess so. I'm
Uh,
sorry, I was on the
That
wrong
is the
page.
next action item. On the levy?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have, okay. On mine, it's 1. Yeah, okay. I didn't have a separate adopt the budget and then the tax levy. I had it as 1 action item. Okay, I'm
We're all good?
all set, yep.
Okay.
so next is adoption of the tax levy.
Right.
Yeah.
The tax levy resolution to fund the proposed budget is appropriate action at this time. Be resolved that the school board be authorized to levy a tax of $18,068,007 for the 2020-21 school year. This would result in estimated equalized value mill rate of $10.99 per $1,000 of equalized value. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Ann. Second?
I'll second.
Christine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes by majority. Next is determine the salaries of the school board members. Board members are compensated at a salary of $3,407.04 annually. Last increase was in 2019. The tasks and responsibilities of the board continue to be magnified as educational issues become more important or complex. Do I have any motion or any comments on salary?
Well, I have a comment.
What's that?
I leave for 1 year and you give yourselves a raise?
Well, we could afford to then.
Yeah,
Just kidding, dude.
Well, that sounds good to me.
Okay. So, I can't hear.
she made the motion.
She made the motion.
Angie Stroop made the motion
To what?
to approve the school board member compensation at 340704.
I'll second.
Angie? Craig? Motion from Angie, second from Craig. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes by majority. Come on here. There we go.
Reimbursement.
Next is reimbursement of school board members. Authorize the payment of actual and necessary expenses of a school board member when traveling in the performance of duties and their reimbursement for actual loss of earnings when duties require the school board member to be absent from regular employment. Note, the board is paid for food and lodging and other miscellaneous expenses when conducting school business outside the district. Mileage is based on IRS reimbursement rate. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Craig.
I'll second.
Second, Ann. Motion from Craig, second from Ann. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes by majority. Next on is the disposal of surplus property. Be it resolved that the school board of the school district of McFarland is hereby authorized during the current school year to sell and dispose of any tangible personal property no longer needed by the school district and belonging to the school district. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Thank you. Ann?
I'll
Christine? Thank you. So motion from Ann, second from Christine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes by majority. Next is annual meeting date. Be it resolved that pursuant to State Statute 120.081, the school board of the school district of McFarland is hereby authorized to set the annual meeting date for 2021. Do we set it now, or we,
No.
okay.
You're authorizing the school board to do so.
Okay, do I have a motion to authorize us to do so?
I'll move to do that.
And second,
Yeah, I'll second.
Christine?
Is Tom awake down there?
Motion from Ann, second from Christine. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Passes by majority. There we go. Any other new business? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Craig? Second?
I'll second.
Christine? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We're done at, I can't read the clock up there.
7:27.
7:27.
Thank you. 7.